INFJs are often seen as enigmatic and complex individuals, a trait that can lead others to underestimate them. INFJs are not the type of people who rush to assert their intellect or abilities simply for the sake of recognition. They prefer to keep a low profile and choose when and where to display their full range of talents. This careful withholding of their capabilities is not a sign of insecurity or self-doubt, but rather a deliberate decision shaped by their introspective nature and their understanding of how the world works. INFJs tend to be highly perceptive and sensitive to the energies around them. They often intuitively sense the intentions and motives of those they interact with. In many cases, they can detect when others are quick to judge, underestimate, or dismiss them based on surface-level impressions. This can be frustrating, as INFJs are often misunderstood, but they rarely feel the need to prove themselves to people who have not taken the time to understand who they truly are. Instead, they let these underestimations play out, choosing to observe and assess the situation without reacting overtly. If you want to truly understand yourself and unlock your full potential as an INFJ, check out the INFJ Blueprint today. The link is in the description of this video. Another reason INFJs allow others to underestimate them is their profound humility. INFJs are deeply aware of their own flaws, limitations, and growth areas, and they value personal development more than external validation. They are not driven by the need to impress others, and this lack of ego-driven ambition leads them to remain somewhat reserved about their accomplishments. They don't crave the spotlight, and as a result, they can easily fade into the background, allowing others to overlook their potential. INFJs possess a unique ability to adapt to their environment, adjusting their behaviors and demeanor based on the people they are engaging with. This means that they can downplay their talents and intellect if they sense that their full capabilities might intimidate or alienate others. By doing so, they can foster better connections with people who might otherwise feel uncomfortable in the presence of someone who seems to be always on. This adaptability also allows INFJs to engage in conversations and relationships without being perceived as overwhelming or condescending. It's almost as if they are strategically hiding their light under a bushel, but not out of fear or insecurity. Rather, out of a desire to create harmony and avoid unnecessary conflict. INFJs are also highly selective when it comes to the people they allow into their inner circles. They do not feel the need to impress everyone they meet, because they place great value on quality over quantity in relationships. If they sense that someone is truly open-minded, emotionally intelligent, and capable of deep conversations, they will slowly reveal more of themselves, allowing their full potential to be seen. However, with people who are shallow or dismissive, INFJs might deliberately choose to downplay their strengths to avoid being labeled as too much or too intense. This selective sharing of their talents is a defense mechanism, as INFJs understand that not everyone is worthy of their full trust and brilliance. INFJs often feel a deep sense of responsibility for others. They care more about helping people grow and understand themselves than being seen as an expert or a leader. This natural inclination to nurture and support others can cause them to downplay their intelligence, particularly if they feel that showcasing their abilities might make others feel inadequate or insecure. They would rather let people underestimate them than risk causing discomfort by showing their full capacity for brilliance. INFJs are also highly intuitive, and their intuition often guides them to let people underestimate them in situations where it works in their favor. They recognize that sometimes people need to see things for themselves rather than be told or impressed. INFJs may also let others underestimate them as a way to test the waters, observing how people react when they are not in the spotlight. In certain circumstances, INFJs will deliberately keep their cards close to their chest, allowing others to make assumptions about their capabilities. This can often be a way for INFJs to assess the character of those around them, measuring how they respond to challenges or how they treat others in situations where the INFJ is not actively leading or contributing. INFJs let people underestimate them because they have a deep desire for peace and an aversion to unnecessary conflict. INFJs are natural peacemakers, and they are often inclined to avoid confrontation unless absolutely necessary. By not drawing attention to their strengths, they can avoid making others feel threatened or competitive, thus maintaining the harmony they so deeply value. If someone underestimates them, the INFJ may not feel compelled to correct the misconception, as they are more interested in keeping the peace than in proving a point. This willingness to let others remain in the dark can be seen as a form of emotional intelligence, as INFJs choose to preserve relationships over winning battles of ego. INFJs let others underestimate them because of their idealism. INFJs are deeply driven by their vision of the world and their commitment to making a positive impact. They tend to seek meaningful, authentic connections with people and are not interested in superficial recognition. For them, the purpose of their work, their thoughts, and their actions is not to gain applause or admiration, but to create a sense of change and healing. Because of this, they often deem it unnecessary to make a display of their intelligence or capabilities unless it serves a higher purpose. When people underestimate them, they do not feel a need to correct the misconception because their focus is not on personal gain, but on the greater good. This idealism also ties into their empathy. INFJs possess an immense capacity for understanding the emotions, struggles, and complexities of others. They are natural listeners and often take a step back in conversations or social situations to allow others to express themselves. This listening quality often leads people to underestimate the INFJ's intellect or depth of understanding. Others may focus on the INFJ's quiet demeanor, misinterpreting their reserved nature as passivity or a lack of insight. In truth, the INFJ's ability to listen deeply is an expression of their empathy and their desire to understand before offering solutions or opinions. INFJs are often content to let others take the spotlight, and in doing so, they can observe and learn, silently accumulating knowledge and experiences that they will later draw upon when necessary. INFJ's deep sense of inner fulfillment also plays a crucial role in why they let people underestimate them. They are not driven by external recognition or validation, but by their inner compass. Their sense of worth comes from knowing they are aligned with their core values, and this understanding allows them to remain centered and grounded, regardless of how others perceive them. This inner fulfillment gives INFJs the strength to step back and allow others to underestimate them without feeling diminished or lessened in any way. They do not seek out praise because they do not require it to feel validated or secure. This quiet confidence is often what makes INFJs so attractive to others. They're not boastful or eager to prove their worth, and yet, those who are perceptive enough will recognize the quiet power that lies beneath the surface. Also, INFJs often feel an immense sense of responsibility towards others and toward the world at large. They are driven by a desire to help people and make a positive impact, which leads them to downplay their talents in situations where their skills might feel intrusive or overwhelming. For instance, in group settings, an INFJ might hold back their contributions if they sense that it could overshadow someone else's voice or make them feel inadequate. They understand the value of nurturing others' growth and giving them space to shine. This nurturing instinct causes INFJs to be hyper-aware of how others might perceive them, and they are often willing to sacrifice their own moment in the limelight for the sake of others' comfort and development. The INFJ sees the potential in others and chooses to wait until the moment is right to step forward with their own brilliance. INFJs are also highly strategic in their approach to life. They recognize that timing is everything, and that revealing their full potential too soon can lead to unnecessary attention or, in some cases, even animosity. They have an uncanny ability to assess the dynamics of any situation and gauge whether their involvement will be appreciated or resented. If the timing is not right, they will remain in the background, letting others underestimate their capabilities, only to reveal their true selves when they know the situation demands it. INFJs are excellent at reading the room, and they know when to hold back and when to step up. This patience is a hallmark of their character, allowing them to play the long game and ensure that their contributions are both timely and impactful. Another reason INFJs allow people to underestimate them is their disinterest in competition. Unlike some personality types, who thrive on proving themselves against others, INFJs are not motivated by a desire to win or outshine their peers. They are not in competition with others because they view success as a deeply personal and individualized journey. The need to constantly be recognized or validated by others simply does not factor into their worldview. They do not need to constantly prove their worth because they are already secure in their own sense of self. This detachment from the need to be seen as superior or exceptional leads them to embrace the role of the quiet observer, letting others take center stage while they bide their time in the wings. INFJs also tend to prioritize their inner peace above all else. They seek balance in all aspects of their lives, and they understand that drawing too much attention to themselves can disrupt this harmony. By letting others underestimate them, INFJs can avoid unnecessary conflict and maintain a sense of tranquility. They are adept at navigating social situations with grace, blending into the background when needed, and stepping forward when the moment calls for it. This ability to maintain inner peace while allowing others to underestimate them is a form of emotional intelligence, one that INFJs cultivate over time as they refine their understanding of human behavior and their own emotional landscape. INFJs often feel a deep sense of responsibility toward others and the world at large. Their desire to help people and make a positive impact drives them to be selfless, often putting the needs and well-being of others before their own. This sense of responsibility can lead them to downplay their strengths in situations where they feel their abilities might overshadow others. For example, in group settings, they might refrain from voicing their thoughts or sharing their knowledge, allowing others to take center stage. This is not because INFJs lack confidence in their ideas, but because they believe in creating space for others to grow and shine. INFJs are far more interested in seeing others succeed than in claiming the spotlight for themselves, and as a result, they may let people underestimate their capabilities in order to allow others to take the lead. At the same time, INFJs have an uncanny ability to sense when someone is in need of guidance or support. This empathy-driven intuition often guides their decision to remain low-key, only stepping forward when they sense that their contribution will be meaningful. When they do decide to share their wisdom, it is typically done in a gentle, understated manner, without fanfare or self-promotion. INFJs do not need to draw attention to themselves when they offer their insights. They're content with knowing that their advice will have a lasting impact, regardless of whether it is acknowledged in the moment. This quiet, humble approach allows them to maintain authenticity and integrity in their relationships, while also ensuring that their contributions are respected and valued in a way that feels natural and genuine. The INFJ's ability to let others underestimate them also stems from their highly developed sense of self. They are deeply in tune with their inner world and have a clear understanding of their values, strengths, and weaknesses. This self-awareness makes them less reliant on external validation to feel good about themselves. While others may feel the need to constantly assert their worth or prove their abilities, INFJs are content in the knowledge that their value does not depend on others' opinions. This inner security allows them to quietly go about their lives, allowing others to form their own impressions while remaining confident in their own sense of self. INFJs are aware that people's perceptions are often based on surface-level observations, and they know that their true worth cannot be easily understood by those who are quick to judge. Their preference for letting others underestimate them also ties into their understanding of human nature. INFJs are not naive. They know that many people are driven by ego, pride, and the desire to be seen as superior. They are aware of the dynamics of power and influence and understand that drawing attention to their abilities can sometimes lead to jealousy, competition, or resentment. To avoid these potential negative outcomes, INFJs often choose to remain in the background, letting others take the lead and assuming roles of authority or importance. They are comfortable with their own quiet strength and do not feel the need to compete with others for recognition or praise. This sense of detachment from the need for power or status is a hallmark of the INFJ personality, and it allows them to navigate the world with grace and humility. INFJs often have a deep-seated desire for harmony in their relationships. They are highly sensitive to the emotions and needs of others, and they strive to create a sense of peace and understanding wherever they go. By letting others underestimate them, INFJs can avoid creating tension or friction in their interactions. They are adept at reading the room and adjusting their behavior to suit the dynamics of the people around them. This flexibility and adaptability make them natural diplomats, able to navigate complex social situations without ruffling feathers. They understand that sometimes stepping back and allowing others to take charge is the best way to preserve harmony and foster goodwill. The INFJ's tendency to let others underestimate them is also deeply tied to their preference for deep, meaningful relationships over shallow ones. INFJs are not interested in accumulating superficial relationships or proving themselves to people they do not genuinely care about. They prefer to invest their time and energy in relationships that are built on mutual respect, understanding, and trust. To this end, they are highly selective about who they let into their inner circle. When they do connect with others on a deep level, they reveal more of themselves and their talents, but only when they feel it is safe and appropriate to do so. Until that moment comes, INFJs are content to let others underestimate them, as they understand that the right people will recognize their worth without needing to be shown or told. INFJs' ability to allow others to underestimate them can also be seen as a form of emotional resilience. By not reacting defensively when others fail to see their potential, they protect themselves from unnecessary stress and emotional turmoil. They do not invest energy in trying to change people's perceptions because they know that doing so would only drain them. Instead, they focus on maintaining their peace of mind, trusting that their true worth will eventually be recognized by those who matter. This resilience allows them to continue pursuing their goals and dreams without being bogged down by external opinions or judgments. The INFJ's decision to let others underestimate them is a conscious and calculated one, rooted in a profound understanding of human behavior and the dynamics of social interactions. This tendency to fly under the radar, so to speak, is not born out of a desire to remain passive, but rather a reflection of their personal philosophy, one that prioritizes depth over superficiality and inner peace over external validation. In a world that often celebrates outward achievements and loud successes, INFJs understand that their true power lies not in overt displays of their abilities, but in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing their worth without needing to prove it. If you want to truly understand yourself and unlock your full potential as an INFJ, check out the INFJ Blueprint today. The link is in the description of this video.